hustle to increase, put it all on the line. House just about every feet and walking yards on the line. Every day 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 on the soapbox. Every day on the line. I remember every day on the line. Every day on the line. I remember being young as fuck, staring out of my window, gazing at the trees, wondering how does the wind blow. Young and innocent, blind to world's deception. No knowledge of overreach, just my parents' protection. Outside unruly, had to catch that quick. Was either the one with finesse or getting that ass whipped. Sandbox, the private block, either up the law status. Shoot game dictator, whether or not you had cabins. Hanging was at his side, chose sides and got active. Baby on the way, how robbery start cracking. From deep on missions with the bullshit foot. Half a peak out the bills, 3 throwaway toolies. Send the console.
Hey, squares, beware everywhere. I'm JJ FOMBY on the Line podcast with JJ FOMBY and Junior.
What's happening out there? What's going on?
Oh man, you know, perpetrating that square, trying to get in with.
Oh yeah, you're doing a good job too, man. What's the deal? What's the word on the streets?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't hang in the streets, man. I'm at home at a certain time, man. Like
when the lights come on, you're in there when the lights come on.
Man, look at me, man. I'm trying to know how I'm programming on society, man. I gotta know how to be studious and taxpayer and good Christian, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a task. It's a different task. So we're running this back to back. You know what I mean? We just tapping in, man, and we've been doing what we've been doing. And today we got a guest. Well, he ain't a guest. He's been on the show. I don't know how many times. I lost count. But
we can call him a regular.
Yeah, well, he's a regular. Then we might have another guest. We might have a guest pop in if he able to take him away from his family at this time. But if we don't, we got the great Mr. Alex Harris is here to tap in with us. Let me bring him into the thing. Mr. Alex Harris, how we doing today? Get your mic up.
You know, I'm good and blessed. I can't complain too much. How's everything?
As you know, we here today on the Line podcast show, and I ain't seen you in a minute, but we've been hanging out all week. But we brought you in today, actually to stop in, and I appreciate you taking the opportunity to cut time out your family life to chat in with us. Junior, man, what was that last show we did, man? What we talking about today?
Last show we did was just, we was popping at everybody out there, man, trying to, keep our ear to the street, see what the what's and who's in the days, man, about the, how social media is getting a lot of people flipped upside down, basically. How this tool here that's used to however you want to use it, but unfortunately, lately, it's becoming a downfall of a lot of people.
Yeah, so bottom line of all this adverb effect, it's a cause and effect. There's an action and a reaction to everything that goes on. Like I said before, the internet is a blessing and a curse. It's a tool. Can be used for many things. One, for financial gain, for amusement, and it can be used for danger and propaganda. So it's something new that we all have to experience or learn how to utilize, and when to do this and when not to do that. So especially if you have kids and have access to the internet. So grandkids or nephews and nieces. So you have to monitor that. You can't just be like, go and watch the TV like when we was little. Just go and watch the TV. You only had 12, 10, 5, 6 channels in it. They couldn't find nothing else to look at unless when they got to the Playboy magazines in the closet. But but today it's something different. So Mr. Alex, I know let the viewers, the ones that don't know, what is your past work history? Did you inform the people?
My past My past work history, I used to sell newspapers, press telegrams.
Not that far back, but let them know, man, because they can go back and look at some of the shows that you've been on, but some of them might be new people haven't met you before. But can we please give them some enlightenment on your career that you had took and working?
Yeah, so I've been. It's a blessing. I'm always trying to support you in the show and what's going on, and two rival and two close cities getting together to make an impact. Compton and Long Beach, different neighborhoods, different everything together. But y'all have a lot of knowledge. I mean, we have professors in college, we have professors, junior college, and teachers. Then we have folks like y'all who have a past of things, who are professors of the streets and communities and cultures.
Yep.
And I have a blend of both. Of course, we all have different backgrounds, but it's a privilege to be here and try to share the common knowledge of the same streets we've been on, but on different sides of the sidewalk, if that's a good way to do it. So for me,
Yep.
coming from growing up in the same neighborhood FOMBY did, but then turning around as well as being a police officer in the same city, same area I live. I didn't move away. I didn't get scared. I wasn't worried about people bothering me. I came to make a difference, an impact. And then after working the streets for a few years, I moved over to the federal government side of the house where I'm at now.
Woo.
And so I got to do some things and see some people. And one of the things about it is I think we need a lot of soldiers like you guys to get out here and help influence some of these young individuals. And I think there needs to be part of that recipe are individuals like myself who've been from those streets, who've been on their own, self-educated, trying to get out there and do something different. The game is the same. It's just been played a little different. And
a lot different.
And I think those two cultures have to get together because there's a commonality. And the commonality is being involved and recognizing wrong and what gets us involved with wrong and right. Because, there's an inverse to being wrong, which is right? And so there's a balance there. And what is that balance? Influence. You guys are doing the things you guys used to do back in the day when you were a lot younger. And, things that I used to do when I was a kid and teenager because of influence. And that's why today's topic, we're talking about social media. The problem with social media is too influential.
Woo.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that influence comes with, I will do anything, not me figuratively speaking, to get likes, followers. Back in the day, we would call them groupies, whatever you want to say. I'm going to do whatever it needs to do to get my influence.
That notoriety, recognition, your name out there, or as your hashtag at or so and so. Yeah,
Right.
that's the push that's moving on now with this social media. And the reason why we brought this subject to the table is a spinoff from yesterday, the last show we did, is because it's just not new, but it's starting to take a toll that's going on with the social media, with suicides. At first it was what you call cyberbullying. That kind of died out a little bit. So now it's this thing to do. I mean, the people will probably jump from roof to roof just to get, some air under their feet of like, oh man, did you see that video? And also sharing. People take your post or your video and share it and share it and share it and all over the world, you're gonna be like a star
It's so
in
funny.
your own right.
It's so funny you said that. There's a cop in the local city. I'm not going to say his name. But I can tell you we have about 800 officers in this city. And there's one guy who just magically pops up daily, weekly, seems to be on the camera. If he helping walk an old man across the street, he got the car stopped in the middle of the highway, helping somebody walk. He stopped some brothers down on the beach who were down there. He decided he's gonna pull over, turn his music on, and start dancing to it.
Oh, yeah.
Funny because some people are like, this cop is cool, man. He's in the neighborhood. But because I know this individual, I'm saying it's such a farce. And what this dude is doing is trying to manipulate and grow on this community, getting his likes and followers, trying to be something he's really not. Because the brothers and people like myself who come from the streets and been involved and been in these communities, we have harder times internally with police departments and in law enforcement in general being involved or connected in that kind of atmosphere. So I think some of that has been pretty funny. It's
just getting your points up.
Right. And so now that's such a big issue with everybody. The whole thing is let me get some likes, etc. Because everyone is starving for something. And I don't know if it's attention, I don't know if it's money, or just fame. I mean, you guys know, like I know, there's a lot of famous people who are more famous than they are rich.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yep.
so what are you really chasing?
But then you have those individuals who have a career, they business they trying to promote, trying to get up there, or trying to become somebody in a positive way. Whether they promoting a shirt business, they cologne, they car club, or they doing it on a right path, as opposed to just some knucklehead or somebody getting on there just acting a damn fool, letting the monkey out, and oh, look at him. Did you see so and so? Because I fall victim to that. Like, man, did you see that video about so and so was running down the street, butterball ass naked, and hopped in the car and just, but where people go wrong with this is you cannot do a crime and be like this. Watch me do this. All you're doing is just putting the cuffs on yourself. And like I said prior to this video, and you can help me on this. When you get arrested, the first property they're going for is your phone.
Well, it may not be on its relevancy and what's going on. So TK47 was an up and coming rapper. The Rape, y'all remember that? TK47, The Rape. It was a pretty big hit.
Okay, we out the loop on this one, but we'll listen to the story though.
So
yeah, I don't. TK47.
I don't know what happened, but
is he out of
man, I ain't never heard of him. We got to get him back on there.
Well, he probably was a popular, famous. I'm at to look homie up though. I'm at to check him out. Yeah, but
I don't know what happened to him, but he zipped out on us.
Yeah, he zipped. Maybe that story was too fire. He had to, maybe the government didn't want him to tell that story.
What though?
The government didn't want him to tell that. Yeah, they didn't. The powers that be didn't want him to tell that story. They're like, no, brother, you can't tell this story. But moving forward, we have technical difficulties. But anywho, yeah. So pretty much it's a lot going on with earlier you had some guy approach the federal building, not that stuff that happened, back with
downtown Los Angeles today.
Downtown, yeah, in LA downtown, and it ended up pretty bad for him,
Yeah, he drove in to the gate or to the beginning of the underground parking structure of a United States federal building downtown Los Angeles, and he had a weapon or weapons and a bulletproof vest on. And he was not a guard or a cop or nobody in law enforcement. So
no.
what that was, what he was on, or what it was all bad. That idea, whatever he thought about this morning,
Yeah, he must have lost the bet or something.
yeah, he needed somewhere to sleep and make sure he gonna eat top notch food.
Oh well, they got him now. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're a lifetime guest now. Come on up in here. We got some room for you. You know what? You wake up. What make people do things like that?
I don't know what that was about, but yeah. So that was
That
strange.
was in the news today. Something pretty heavy.
Yeah,
Going downtown Los Angeles.
yeah.
I'm sure they
July
got that
14th.
situation together.
Yeah, July 14th. That happened
Yeah.
a couple hours ago here in Los Angeles, California. I'm trying to make sure we're trying to get Mr. Alex back on.
I'm sure he'll tap in when he get his situation squared away.
Yeah. So, bottom line, everybody want to get the on the line podcast t-shirts. We running low on them. We will print more up. Junior division. We will print more up. Yeah, and I got my Sunrock shirt on. My Sunrock.
I see that. I see you got your Sunrock shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me Google Sunrock to find out what it is. But we got check out them on the line podcast t-shirts, man. They decent, they nice shirts.
And now that we here, take a few time for all the viewers and the listeners that's checking us out on this show we on. We just here to pretty much jump in the water and let you guys know that there will be some more guests. Can't mention right now, but yeah, it's going to be some guests coming, and we are going to be on certain locations. We'll let you know moving forward when that's going to happen. But yeah, we got some stuff coming up. As people say, hashtag we outside.
Yeah, sure.
We outside. So we pulling up, maybe in the hood near you. You never know, but it's coming. That's what we jumping on here and touch on a few things real quick, not to take up your night, but just to let you know, it's like a quick commercial. Hey, here we are. We letting you know we got the shirts on deck still. If you want them, we got a few more guests coming. Some good ones. We'll let you in on that. And then, new news. Alex is back. Welcome back, Alex.
Back.
Oh, man, I'm glad to be back. I don't know how it happened.
What did he say?
He said something.
Well, until we get him situated.
Yeah.
Keep chopping it up.
Well, yeah, pretty much that's it. We got a few things lined up that's up and coming that we don't want to speak on right now, just in case it don't fall through. But more than likely, yeah. So you're gonna be hearing and seeing us a lot more outside, different spots popping up here and there. So we always want to stay safe at what we do. We want y'all to stay safe at what you do, and like they say, we back outside. We got our privilege back. Let's not ruin it for the rest of us. A lot of people have been sitting on a lot of ideas and a lot of work that they trying to get off due to we was on lockdown. Now we're back outside. A lot of people got their stuff back in on the track. So, shout out to those people out there who got those things going for themselves. And yeah, we outside and we are popping up. So just be on the lookout for that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Let's see what Alex.
Yeah, Alex got some technical. Yeah, he got some electronic technical difficulties going on. I don't know if he got that Obama phone or I don't know what he got going on over
there. Yeah, so somebody asking questions and my homeboy Larry asked me about the Sunrock shirt. They $30 a pop, bro. Yeah. Cash out me the $30 and then I will pull up and bring you your shirt. I need the size. And you need to buy an on the line shirt too. You need the size. I know you got that money in that sock.
The sock. That's that player move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an old school. He gonna be mad at me. He put my business out there like that. You understand me? Yeah, but uh, yeah, we just wanted to chop it up with people and let them know this and that. And man, it's just real bad, man. A lot of stuff going on through this internet, and it's being utilized for some people for mischievous behavior, and it's causing people harm and danger, loss of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we ain't no guardian angels and no self protectors or nothing. We know we can't stop nothing, but we just asking to try to slow it down a little bit.
All right, just bring some light to it. Pretty much, we just tapping y'all on the shoulder real quick, man. Everybody every now and need that little tap like this every now and then. I need it, he need it, you need it. We just, that's what we're doing, tapping you on the shoulder. If you turn around, cool. If you don't, cool. We just here to tap on your shoulder, man, and see what's going on with y'all. You know,
Yeah,
Mr. Fomby put.
I know. Growing up in the set, uh, my older homies, some who was affiliated, some who was non-affiliated, at times will always catch me like at the hamburger stand or a liquor store, you know, mashing down the street up at the park or something. They always wanted to put, like, come here and holler at you, dog. Come here for me, holler at you. Damn, what the fuck going on? It was having
Mm-hmm.
damn, man, what's going on there? Either I got to put in some work or I done did something when the homies did something and I can't say nothing. I got to play deaf, dumb, and they looking at me like, nigga, we know you know. Or we know it was you. That kind of conversations. That's what we're having, not talking about a particular set or nothing or a particular hood. We're talking about hoods all across the world and all over the United States. We're just some of the older, active, formerly active members who are just pulling you to the side and lacing up your boots, man, about your behavior and your actions um, in your own community, and while you filming it, you know what I mean. What's the ins and what's the outs of it? Now, you make your decision, but yet
Mm-hmm.
you make your own decision, and then however the dice bounce on the table, that's how they made life for you. And a lot of times it don't mean that you're gonna hit 7 on the first hit. You know what I'm saying? A hit point. You feel me? So we just gonna give you uh, the knowledge of don't do it. It ain't worth it. Now we clearly understand if you're protecting yourself and your family. We ain't gotta talk about that part. We just talking about the
Yeah.
reckless behavior. And
Oh well, it's a lot of that going on. But I mean, the bottom line is,
hold
man.
on. I said that wrong. Not reckless behavior. My bad. I
Oh
apologize. I didn't mean reckless behavior. Recreational behavior.
yeah, yeah,
That's
like a
what I'm
job.
talking about. Yeah, recreational for sport. Oh, they're
Oh,
going.
it's so yeah.
Let me see if we getting back in here with Alex now. Let me check that mic.
Microphone checker.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
on the one.
I had to switch platforms on you.
Okay, it's all good. You see, when I say recreational, we talking about for the sport, for the kill, for the taste, right? Not beneficial. See, me and Junior got it. We understand. We
Oh
ran
yeah.
this play for years on years. But when you get captivated and custody, a lot of y'all can't handle it. A lot of y'all can't handle it. A lot of y'all commit suicide in the cells. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Y'all don't make it on the yard. You go protect the custody when you get up in there and you ain't got that stick. You ain't got that mop. You ain't got that blammer. You know what I mean? You ain't got that no more. And you can't work these. And you still can't work this.
Hmm.
It become a whole different kind of thing. You ain't got the homie that's gonna ride with you on all the bullshit you've been pushing on in the turf. He ain't there. You might be on the yard with a bunch of homies you ain't never seen before, I didn't even know who they is because they either older you or younger than you, and they was out there at a different time you was, so they trying to figure out who you is and what you
Nah.
about. So you get in that system, then you get a guy like Mr. Alex come by actually to stamp the count, huh?
Oh, night count, day count, every count. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
Okay.
you know, he passing your bill.
That's that 4 o'clock count.
Look. And you see this motherfucker coming walking down the tier, he handing out mail, and they ain't stopping at yourself for you or your Sally. He just counting you
Yeah, that's
keep
the
passing.
worst.
And you wanna know why? Why that motherfucker didn't bring me no mail? I'm waiting on the pictures from my baby mama on my kids. Yeah, she too busy. She too I shouldn't even do this. Then I ain't gonna do it, Junior. But she preoccupied.
Hey,
Right?
just leave it at that, man. Just
Okay,
leave it.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she too busy.
They understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she too busy being
But
preoccupied with.
but technically that can happen if you're not behind the bars.
That's true. That's
If
true.
you're not on the yard, it's just worse because
Oh yeah.
it might be somebody you know.
Who? Hey, look. They say. Hey, what they say? What you know? What you don't know won't kill you.
Shit. Yeah.
But anyway,
Hey, it's long once your head hit that pillow, it's lonely nights, bro. You know, it's yeah,
He said that,
yeah.
bro.
yeah, being in a cell with another dude is not a comfortable, desirable thing, bro. It is not. It is. I never got comfortable with that. I don't care with the homie. I didn't give a damn. I was like, damn. His farts, his smell, his breath. Man, that shit. Man, that shit.
Hey, homie, come off the weight pile. Don't want to shower. He just want to
Oh
hop right in the bed. But
no,
hold on, player, hold on. Yeah.
no. Then here come Alex. Guys like Alex talking about turning your light. If you want your tray, getting cell fed. He talking shit. You know what I mean? So I just want y'all to really get the understanding. You know, we might be smiling and laughing
Shit is
because
funny, man.
it's the same thing make you laugh and make you cry. Understand that pain for real. So, Alex, man, let these people know, man, about what you've been saying on TV and on the internet, and what is the results of that for real? We shucking and gucking and ha ha kikiing, but in reality, they end up on them prison yards, state or federal, right?
So yeah, so before we had this little mishap with the internets out of my control. I was talking about TK-47, and
Mm.
he's a prime example, and I'm related to him,
Oh,
Oh.
and very directly related to him. And he to this day it still bothers me. But I know one thing they did in his case. He rapped. He was getting big. The song went big. In trial, they used 100% of that all against him.
ooh. All the what?
This whole rap song as evidence supporting the crimes against him that he was facing.
And they stuck.
Well, yeah, he's stuck. He's a
No, I'm
young man.
saying did when they used that, they did it stick or did
Well,
they
yeah,
have
oh,
to
of
throw it
course,
out?
because he was. It's called the race, and the point was he was on the run. It was a race against him and the U.S. Marshals. Yeah,
Uh,
my nephew was very young, um, but he out there, you know, social media. He blowing up and coming rapper.
Yeah.
And as he's
Whew.
doing this, as a young-minded dude out there living, when he ultimately got caught and things happened, we were getting ready to go to trial, and this is dealing with it from a non-law enforcement side. The whole time I could think, I said, man, they're going to use all of this against you. You had a rap song and a video about what you had experienced and went through. It's the same thing right now. What's the young dude, the young gentleman that was just killed? Indian Red, uh, Indian. I think it's Indian Red. Something that might be another part to it. The young man that's just killed uh, in Hawthorne, rapper. Now, allegedly, he had a diss with, dissing Nipsey, rest in peace, and all that stuff on video, getting his Instagrams up, getting his like young rapper. In the neighborhood, the community, somebody didn't like that. And this man gets shot and killed right as he's live on Instagram. It's not social media that's a problem. It's the false belief, the false narrative that all that is acceptable behavior. And not only that, it's a false image. It's a false lifestyle to even believe that behavior and that lifestyle leads you to freedom. It's actually reverse. It leads you to incarceration or death. That's why social media as being an influence is a problem. There is no policing it. Anybody can be who they want. Back in the day, you OGs used to call people, busters, people who used to be falsely representing they from some hood or a gang, etc. may be. Now everybody false everything on the internet. You got catfish. Everybody think that shit funny. But it's people dying over that, man. Been people
Very
hurt
much
over that. They think it's funny because we on the internet. Oh man, look at I gotta laugh. Well, not everybody laugh when they find out they've been talking to a dude the whole time, and you a dude, and they ain't with that game. They're not with that life. And that's the problem with this whole social media thing is that attention. And that attention is what's getting people whatever it is they high is, they new thing is. And that's what makes it bad, and it's just becoming rampant. The young man that was just killed, was this over the weekend in Chicago, just got released out of jail. The rapper just got released out of jail, and they shot him 64 times right outside the police station. Right on camera. And it's like people don't even hide crimes. Man, I remember growing up, and y'all been around a little longer than me and been around internally, externally in this law enforcement system. It wasn't common for people getting full life sentences like it is now. And it sure wasn't common for 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 17, 16-year-olds getting life sentences. Bro, you can watch the news for a week and see 10 cats get that handed no problem under the age of 21, under the age of 20, 19. And it's almost like people just signing up for it.
Mm-hmm.
Social media's got them thinking, hey, homie, look at me, I'm out here. I'm doing that. I'm out here. I got that. And with the feds, the police, and everybody doing is like, hey, man, I appreciate that. Let me get the copy of all that. Now we got direct evidence. Nothing circumstantial about this.
Hold on. Let's go back a couple steps back. So who got what now?
Huh?
You said who got this? Who wants to retrieve this footage?
The police.
Oh, okay.
And listen, man, this whole Facebook getting everybody information, all that's retrievable. Facebook turn all that into the feds. They can everything recorded, saved, goes back in, can all be retrieved. And so much of that social media is being used against people. You're getting people getting robbed. Papa Smoke, that rapper. Same example.
Yeah, even you get fired from your job. They look on there if you ain't doing, following the guidelines of what they got going on. A job you work for, a good job at that. They go on your Facebook, Instagram page, and you doing something that they ain't cool with. They gonna talk to you the next morning.
I know for us, that's part of our whole background thing. I mean, they pulling pictures, screenshots of it. Who is this?
And then the cold part about that, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but whoever your friends are on Facebook or social media, they start looking into who they are so they can get like a 2-for-1 or something like that.
Well, it's not a 2-for-1. It's association, right? But that's also one issue like we've had in other discussions on your show, where that's guys like me who are connected to guys like y'all. Y'all have been connected to the streets. I've been connected differently, but I could be looked at differently because I know a JJ FOMBY because of his background. I must have a problem. That's what's wrong with law enforcement. We need to know a bunch of JJ FOMBYs, juniors, and juniors and JJ FOMBYs need to know a lot of Alexes, and we need to know all those people in our community because it makes. And the reason why is example, in my opinion, where we see some of that is Chicago, where every weekend we got 100, couple hundred people getting shot, and it's in one part of the city, not the entire city. Every single week. That's people not knowing people. Because here's the thing: when they start knowing people, knowing cats, and the cops knowing people, people a little safer. People watch how they treat people. But that's all part of what's going on in this world. The Chauvin case, how they killed Mr. Floyd, that was ridiculous. You know, and we went through all that trial, all the rigmarole on TV, and as a cop, I'm like, man, this is 100% wrong. But this was what was crazy about it from an abstract view. Chauvin really believed he didn't do nothing wrong.
So
That's a problem. That's a problem. So it's no different than the dudes who are out here, you know, out here, I'm turned up, we this, we that, and don't recognize some of that's a problem. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
right, and that's a conversation that we visited earlier in the day when we was just on the phone about cameras and recording and filming. And, you know, we went as far back as Kennedy, you know, that was live, I believe, what happened to him.
Correct.
Then we moved forward some odd years later to Rodney King. That was live what was going on. Then we moved forward again with the young lady who captured the George Floyd film. That was live. Imagine all the stuff that was missed or confiscated. It was filmed, but it was confiscated. And I'll go back to the street part, you know, burglary. When you rob a liquor store, when you rob something like that, that's the first thing you go for is the tape. Let me get that tape out of there so they can't run it back. You know what I mean? Let me get that footage so they don't need to see this. But filming and now with all this cameras is going up, you know, we talk about the Ring. Oh, you know, that thing, that little box that's right on your door. Oh man, that captured the world, audio and video.
Clear.
But you know,
Clear.
and you know what's
And you
crazy?
can share it. You can share it with whoever you want to share it with.
Well, here's the other thing. In a lot of low-income neighborhoods, you may or may not know this, but the cities or city police departments actually give those to the residents for free.
Wow, didn't know that.
No, wait, hold on. Could you repeat that, please, Mr. Harris?
So, in a lot of cities, to include Long Beach, and I know there's some in LA, but I know for a fact Long Beach has done some. The police or the city, arguing where the budget comes from, actually buys a lot of those and hands them to some of the lower income areas and communities that are prone to a little bit more violence.
We're talking about the Ring system.
The Ring doorbell system. And the reason why is exactly what you said. For example, I'll give you a prime example why we do it. There's a crime, with any crime, whatever one you want to name, and it's in front of 123 3rd Street. But 123 3rd Street, that whole block got Ring cameras. So that guy running down the street, that guy driving down the road, he getting ready to pass 10 different cameras.
Oh yeah.
Cameras. Then he's gonna bank into the intersection, and most intersections in metropolitan cities have what? Way at the top of the lights, cameras. That's how they start tracking people's movements. So then we get the car, we get them, we know they are. Then what we do? Start pinging this thing, the tracker that people think they ain't being tracked on, or think they're gonna shut their location down. It's all tracked. See, that's why, to me, sometimes as technology goes, it's great and it for us, and it's also bad for us as well. But I think we're so adapted, or we're getting adapted. And I think when I say this, subconsciously, I'm thinking the younger generation. Old school criminals and crooks have ways of, hey, we got to cover it up. Like you said, you do a robbery, man, we got to get the videotapes. Nowadays, it's so common to be recorded and things that go on that people are just careless and don't even care and taking it with them.
Because they don't know what the fuck they doing.
You know, they got a phone live. Yo, man, I just did this. They running, whole time being tracked.
Excuse me, interrupted. We got counsel just tapped in with us. This is Mr. Camper, attorney at law.
How's it going?
Counsel.
How's it going?
What's going on, Mr. Camper? How you doing?
What's going on, sir?
Nothing much on the move. Just dropping in, see what's going on.
I appreciate you taking time out of the night to use with the family as well as Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, that's Mr. Camper. Mr. Harris worked for the Department of Justice and is former Long Beach PD. And this is Mr. Camper, he's attorney at law.
I have a case against the Department of Justice right now, but I won't get into that.
Wow. Woo. Woo.
Well, the DOJ is a pretty big.
It's big though. I'm suing the school, so you know they're representing the school, so it's nothing. It's nothing too crazy.
Wow. This is Oh, okay. Let's get back to what we got about. Let's talk about.
That's heavy.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. So we have a discussion about well, where everybody might Alex, can you hear me?
Surely can, yes, sir.
Okay, y'all controlling y'all mics. Okay.
Yeah. I'm muting mine on and off.
Oh, okay. As long as y'all could. We're just talking about. Mr. Alex was talking about cameras for in the community and being tracked and people committing crimes and
on social media and things within that neighborhood. You know, people are doing things, incriminating themselves by doing things with social media platform, whether it be, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, all that kind of stuff, and it's catching up to them. They basically putting the cuffs on themselves.
Yeah, and what's crazy about it now is most of the social media tracks you anyways. So even if you weren't on live, a lot of times they can see where you were just by going through your social media. Or they're tracking phones now. So when you do something, they're like, you were over here and you went over here. So even without the live, it's pretty bad. But when you go on live, you just make it exponentially worse, you know, and exponentially harder to defend when you have to defend it in the courtroom. So definitely it's crazy that folks, you know, do that, whether it be for the fame or whatever the situation is. It's definitely crazy, and now as an attorney, it's hard to defend when you're reckless like that, you know.
So to be fair, you have or had cases where you came across where it's like, this evidence is your cellular phone, and we have to build a defense around that.
Yeah, and crazy thing is, most of my cases usually deal with like some type of video of the client in the video. You know, a lot of time they don't bring the cases that the ones that I've had or worked with unless they really have some, you know, something against their client that's pretty bad. And usually it's a video, something that's very hard to defend unless, you know, you're able to argue intent other than that, or some type of incorrect search or violation of constitutional rights or procedural rights, it's very hard to defend when they have those videos. And a lot of times prosecutors don't want to lose. So they're not going to bring a lot of cases that don't have them.
So that's the bread and butter right there. That's like a home run.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So most of the time the clients are taking the deals. I guess if they throwing a deal on the table, sometimes
Yeah.
they ain't got deals. So
And the crazy thing is, sometimes clients know from the beginning that's the case, and sometimes they think that the lawyers are just trying to make deals, but a lot of times the clients are like, "Hey, what deal do I have?" They don't even want to fight. They're already asking what deals they have before there even a chance to fight, because they know most of the time that they are wrong, that they are on camera, or whatever the situation may be.
And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier today with some guys, just before we came on. It's like nowadays people taking it. It's like I was talking about the life sentences. I've been doing this law enforcement thing, sworn, for 21 years almost. 21 years, and before that, started off Explorer program, all the stuff you're supposed to do, right? And receiving a life sentence 20 years ago for people in the neighborhood was like, wow, that dude got life. Wow, that was big news. Now it's like what Mr. Camper said. I agree. You got people just walking in. I'll just take that bid. I'll take 60. I'll take 20. And the problem is, and that incorporates this social media, it's like no one even cares. And they young, man. I mean, like 15, 19, 18, 21, 23.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they getting defensive end numbers. They walking
And
around
then
with
when you
99
sprinkle in
on them.
gang enhancements, it gets
Oh
way
yeah.
worse.
Everything.
They're putting the gangs on social media, and then now the government knows what gang you from, and now whatever you do, they're gonna add 7 years or multiply it by 3.
I mean,
Just
I
because
used to
you're in
pop.
a
We get.
gang.
I used to pop people all the time on injunctions. That's easy. Give them an injunction, got them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's like,
Yep.
and that's why I do come on these things and we speak, because you know how I feel. I don't support all that hood shit anymore. I'm not with all that. That's not helping the black community. It's not helping the minority. It's not helping individuals trying to get out of this. And I can't understand for the life of me how all these OGs, and we talked about this in a few podcasts ago, the OGs that's on the yard, been there, done some time, and I'm talking about a dime, 10 or greater. They trying to get out. They calling Mr. Camper, hey man, you can get some time off? Hey, you think you can help me get out of that? But then on the flip side, we all everybody out here on the street trying to get inside.
Yeah.
And then the moment they get inside, oh man, I'm fighting that. I'm trying to get some of that off. I didn't do all that. Conflict of interest, man. Which one is it? And that's one thing that made gangs different than a mafia. Gangs, polar opposites. See, it's gotten to the level now where on our level, it's almost dangerous for anybody. My mom living in the neighborhood, we got to worry about cops that are shady. Then we got our own people in the neighborhoods, and then we got our own friends. And I know, I mean, y'all been around like I've been around, and it's you start seeing individuals who prosper or doing things, and it's like, you got some money, you got this, and we're still belittling our own culture. Like I said, if we look at what a pandemic is, or these mass shootings, I don't understand for the life of me, and I've been doing this thing for a while, how we still are having a law enforcement security issue in Chicago every weekend, where we're having 100 plus people killed or shot in 3 days every week. That's not hidden. It's not a secret. That's a problem. But here's the tripping part. If that happened in Beverly Hills, they have everybody and their mama working
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So is it
So
really? So what's the real issue here? And
And
that's
this
what
is
we
just
that
state to state. It's not just in California. It's not
right.
just in Arizona or New York. It's everywhere.
right, right. It's not one particular location. Uh, we had made we had a few conversations about this and that, and I just wanted to also target this. This ain't gonna be the last show we talking about somebody being harmed from as far as mass shootings, as far as high speed chases, as far as um, uh, robberies and all that.
Suicides.
Suicides. All this gonna keep going on. This ain't gonna just stop overnight. It's gonna keep going on. We're gonna do more shows. Ongoing. This is gonna be an ongoing battle. It's not gonna dissipate. It's not gonna go away. Only thing we're trying to do is enlighten the people and deter them from committing the crime. But if you do, we can't deter you. Well, then you're either gonna die or you're gonna be sentenced to a long time in prison. That's what the show is about, man. It's
And
just
and speaking of that, Mr. Capper, could you talk about like the youngest age that come across your desk and you look at his file and be like, wow, man, really?
I've had myself had as young as 17. Um, I've had guys young as 17 try to get them all out of the system database, gang injunction database. Um, because sometimes there's guys on there they don't even know they're on there. 17 and they committed a crime, and it could be 5 to 10 years, but now they're in a gang, so now it's 20 to 30 years. You know, and they're
First
17.
timers, this they first time in trouble.
Uh, it, maybe sometimes it's not their first time. It's only been like one time where it hasn't been their first, where it was their first time. And in those cases, the judge are usually, sometimes the judges will find ways to kind of work with them. Like, hey, you go to school, you come back and prove it to me, then I'll take it away. When it's your first time. But if they know that you've done other things and you do have a rap sheet, then they will be less lenient on you. And if you're in the gang, they're really going to be less lenient, especially if you're not in LA, where they're trying not to enforce it as much. But if you're
I
somewhere
was just
else,
about to I was just about to question you about that. From my understanding, they either doing away with the gang injunction or they not using it as much. What could you tell us about that?
they're not using it as much. I can't say they put it away because it's not technically gone. As we talked about last time, that the new prosecutor, he doesn't really want to do it. It's his employees, though, the deputy prosecutors and stuff like that, who sometimes they will not listen to that and they still will try. So
Okay.
you're gonna have situations like that, but all in all, the order that's trickling down is to not really pursue it on that level as far as gang enhancements are concerned. From what I know,
So,
Now,
from my info.
Alex, Alex, and Mr. Camper, this question is for both of you. How detrimental is pictures, whether it be on your social media or just in your file, when you just flossing with guns and you got these big ass rifles that you barely can hold up and you throwing up gang signs? How bad does that work against you once you get caught up in the system?
well, for me, from a law enforcement standpoint, it all depends on the type of case we're dealing with, right? So when you're talking about youngest, the youngest person I've arrested was 11 years old for murder. Second youngest
Woo.
was 15, the second youngest was 15. 11-year-old stabbed a guy in the heart, another kid. Um,
uh,
Now, this is just my opinion. When I look at things like
Wow.
that influence for him to even feel comfortable to learn to deal with that comes from it's something else, and that's what we have to deal with. And I think as
Hmm.
not only as law enforcement, but
Hmm.
even as a parent, we need to be holding more of these parents accountable because when you got a child that's wilding out and doing too much. I got a
Hmm.
16-year-old, and I'm on her neck with her phone with that TikTok and want to just TikTok and tick too much, and I'm like, you better slow down. So
Yeah.
when we're looking at things like injunctions, and when we having to deal with a gang injunction, and like I'll give you the prime example. I know for a fact when you're looking at cops, one of the homies passed away. And everybody flying their colors, rest in peace, this and that. Everybody want to flag and do their thing. Well, varying on who it is, what city, what's going on, most people always have a little undercover team hanging out somewhere in the cemetery. And what they doing? Snapping pictures. So now you get wrapped up in some kind of criminal thing. Put you in that database, NCIC. We give you some kind of moniker. Just like in First 48. They be like, they don't even know the dude's name. We call him Smoke. You watch First 48, they give him a weird name. Call him Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Tree pop up to something else to lead to two of these people. Okay, go and be these 3 trees. Bam. That's how we get them. That's how important it is. And when I'm talking about going to a family funeral, running homies, yeah, I was associated, we cool, we this and that. One of my very good friends, and FOMBY probably know about this. One of my very good friends was a brother, was the younger brother of some well-known Crips and Longies. When I was a junior troop, I went to his funeral in my police uniform. And I remember for a fact being called in internal affairs afterwards, and I knew there were guys that were out there working the funeral, taking pictures. They was in cars. There was quite a few of them out there, about 10 of them. This goes back to that association thing. You're never better than the people where you come from. And as me being a cop, when I used to work the street versus when I left and working for the government, that was all vital. I became a great cop because of where I came from. But I'm also not better than or superior than the people from the neighborhood. I don't have to be wrapped up in all this other stuff. So when I showed up in my uniform, I had praises from OGs. There were some people who were like, oh man, the police. But then I had a lot of people in the community who was like, hey, you represent who you are. And to me, that was important. And I know that because I know there were some young cats to this day who called me and said, man, I want to be a police officer. What do I do? But, I'm worried about who my family is. And like I told him, I said, listen, whatever your brother, your cousin, your daddy did, that's not you. And they can't judge you because of these people around you. We all don't control who we from, right? That's just what it is. So when you look at these pictures and you think about that, be who you are. I'm in law enforcement. I didn't hide who I am. I'm in uniform. Now, did it look a little different, goofy? It probably looked a little weird. But that was the premise of what I was trying to do. This is who I am, to represent. That dude was my friend. I don't know him. He wasn't wrapped up in that. Was his family wrapped up in a lot of things? Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's not him. And that's not what I'm involved with.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I can have the career I'm still having afterwards. But as a cop, when I want to go after someone, I'm going to use all that. And then I'm sure Mr. Camper touched on this, but that's hard to fight when you're talking about them enhancements, when you're talking about priors. It's hard to be like, you have no association. And it's like, well, ain't this you? You give it out, there you go. That's you.
That's you.
And that's where it can get you caught up with a lot of things and a lot of problems. And that's why this Instagram and everybody want to get, everybody out here, man. They damn near be running into people on the gram. And
The gram.
being on the gram is what's catching these people. As we just talked about last week, the young man who got killed out there in Hawthorne on the gram.
Well,
But Mr. Camper, you can jump in on that. Nobody tying up time, but you can chime in from your end.
Just I pretty much I especially agree with the beginning. The influences. I thought about that also. influences. It looks cool to do some of these things sometimes. That sounds cliche, but you got the music and all that stuff too. That is what helps raise some of these kids. You know what I'm saying? Some of these kids, they look to that music and they think these rappers are living like that. So they think
Right.
that they could easily live like that. Or they're it's crazy how excited they are to get into especially in LA. It's very political getting into gangs and all that. Where you're at, what you're wearing, all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, it's so much uniformity in it that it makes it easy, when you're pulling them over, when you're deciding whether to put them into the database and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely understand that. It's never helpful, but I just think the influence of it. Sometimes they know about the database and then they still don't care. They still want to hang out with those people, be caught with them, wearing the same colors, tattoos, and all that stuff. So, you know, um, it seems like people want to get into the flashiness of it, and they're not thinking of the repercussions of everything that comes with that. So
Hmm.
uh, being put in the database is not something anybody should want.
Excuse me.
And then you commit a crime and you're on there, it gets worse. So you know,
Excuse me, Scapper. I
but
like
no,
to interject.
definitely, I just felt like I want to touch on influence. Okay.
Excuse me, let me interrupt right quick. A couple things. One, before I forget, when you commit crime, for people to commit crimes, you need to have money to get your own attorney. Attorneys are not free. The ones that are free to you, boy, I don't know how that's gonna work out for you. But you have to have money to get you a decent attorney that you hope and believe will fight for you. When you have no money and they just slide you somebody over there, that don't mean you're gonna win the case. More like you're gonna take a deal or lose the case. The percentage you win that case is very low. Very, very low. And it's very low when you're on videotape. They got footage of it. So,
Mhm.
and then sometimes they don't give you a deal all the time. The deal is to put your clothes on, get up there in 15 minutes. That's the deal. We
Or
finna chop your head, your
they'll
leg.
give you a deal that's so bad that they're technically not giving you a deal. They know you won't take it. A lot of times the judge will make them give you a deal, but it doesn't mean they have to give you a good deal. You know.
Okay,
So,
okay. So I see somebody asked Miss Jackie White asked a question about attorneys or not. They're not there to help you. Well, let me put it up. Jackie White made this comment, and she says that.
The attorneys are not for you. They just want to get paid. Tell you to take a plea deal in a minute.
Ha. Well,
No, I'm not an attorney. I didn't finish law school. I didn't go to law school, but from a law enforcement standpoint, I'll agree to that to a point. But I think it also is going to come down to what it is you're facing and how strong the evidence is. Like for me, I give you an example. Like I made it halfway through law school, but I had to move around. I've been in law enforcement a long time. When I write a criminal complaint or I'm preparing a case, I'm preparing it with Mr. Camper in mind that he's going to try to find a defense out of everything. That's how I write my
Mm.
case. So when I'm building this case, and just like, for example, I'll just use this. Nipsey Hussle shooter ain't in trial is not in trial yet for a reason. Somebody's looking to poke the holes in that evidence. That's what Camper gets paid. My job, not even the prosecutor's job, my job is to make sure it's defenseless for him. The prosecutor takes it and go cash the check. So when we're writing up, and if you get a bad cop, so let's think of O.J. Simpson. When you get a cop that we know has some issues in the background, maybe race be an issue, that's a defense. Well, you did that for whatever, right? But in the OJ case, he did a lot of shoddy police work. Like, we don't drive around with evidence in cars. We don't take people's blood and hang out with them. There's things you just don't do. So part of that, I think, varying on having a paid attorney, but not even a paid attorney, because I can tell you, I know paid attorneys. I know some bad ones and good ones, and I bet you Mr. Camper probably knows more than I do. But the reality is, it's the quality and the type of attorney. Johnny Cocker was famous for a reason.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's my two
And
cents.
we spoke about this last time too. I was telling them that people don't know, but 99.8% of cases settle. 99.8. That, that's how it is. I don't know, maybe 99.8% of lawyers are, in it for the money. But the
Right.
thing is, most of the time, what people don't realize is 95% of your clients in criminal really did it. You know,
Yeah. Right. Preach.
just because you have a defense doesn't mean that they didn't do it. It just
Correct.
means we found a way to wiggle around it. So when you're sitting in there with your client and they're on video, they did it. They're not even denying it. They asking you how much time the prosecutor offering. They're telling their family they didn't even do it. You know what I'm saying? And now your family looking, but they also asking the family for the money for the lawyer. So the family's paying you, and then the family's looking at you like you're a bad attorney because my son didn't do it or my daughter didn't do it. The whole time I'm looking at the video. You know,
Mm.
Mm.
everybody deserves
Wait.
everybody deserves representation, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that somebody do it or somebody did do it. On the civil end, um, they settle even more than that. And by civil I mean you're suing somebody for money and you know, um, you're not in the criminal side of things. So, that settles all the time too. And they may settle even if your client is wrong, even if your client is lying about them, they'll settle because it's cheaper to settle when it comes to
Mm.
civil cases, than to pay your attorney $1,000 an hour to fight it, and they only asking for 30,000, but you're gonna pay your attorney for 300 hours. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they look at it on the civil end. But as far as the criminal end, I will say this: most of the time, even with public defenders, it's gonna be hit or miss. Some of them are really good, and some of them aren't as good because they have so many clients, probably 60 to 70 clients they have.
Right.
So they're giving you so many clients that it kind of takes the fight out of you because you're not going to go to trial 60 times. This is not, TV where they commit the crime and 2 days later you're in trial fighting. No, this is, you got 60 clients. You're going to have
And you
60
could be sitting
prelims,
in it for
60.
years. Yeah.
Exactly. Coming up, trial may not be for 6 months, a year. So it's not how people think that it is. It's usually when the prosecutor has enough in them to bring it, they have enough. Like he said about the Nipsey Hussle case. If the prosecutor felt like they really, really had enough, this case would move a lot quicker. You know, but when people, especially when you add in the social media, the flaunting the guns, the talking about what you did, showing where you're at, the case is gonna go a lot quicker. Telling your friends what happened. One of them probably gonna snitch anyways. You know what I'm saying? That stuff makes the case go quicker. And I know from family's perspective, it looks like the lawyer didn't do anything, but sometimes it wasn't much the attorney could do, but lessen the blow. And whether they did it or not, everybody deserves representation. So, if my client committed the crime and happens to lose the case, I can't give the money back. He's still
Mm.
gonna put the same amount of time in. You know what I'm saying? He's still gonna put the
Yeah.
same amount of
Uh
time and effort in. Most attorneys are gonna put time and effort. Most attorneys are going to negotiate. Some have a little more fight than others, definitely. But most of the time, um, attorneys have an ethical obligation to try. And that's what people don't realize. If 8 attorneys told you your case is bad, it's probably just a bad case. and they don't hate you, and attorneys are not out for you. But you know, you usually know the law is so clear cut. You usually know what type of case you're dealing with before it even starts. So
Mm.
I don't think that attorneys are bad. I have a problem with the criminal justice system, like most people, of course, but I don't think necessarily that attorneys are just in it to get paid. I think it's a lot of stuff that goes down in the background that that the workers really goes in. And if we can, we will get all our clients out. But the truth of the matter is, most of our clients did it.
Oh wait,
Prosecutors, their record are 98%. They're not bringing a case unless they know they can win that case most of the time. They're just not. Maybe they may try to get a group of people. Throw some conspiracies in there. That's a different ball game. But most of the time, they're usually not going to bring something unless they know for a fact, because when they lose, it goes against their record, and they actually care about that kind of stuff. Every prosecutor knows their record. So
well, to the
that's
viewers,
just my perspective.
and that's great perspective. We need that from attorney and a law enforcement, because people have in mind, like the listeners and the viewers who are not involved in this kind of stuff, as far as the street stuff, they just spectators. They don't understand none of this stuff. They just think everything's supposed to go the way they think it's supposed to go in their head, and they don't know that don't work like in the courtroom. The courtroom is a serious situation for anybody, be the counsel, the defense, the client, the people coming to observe it. It's serious business up in there, and your life could be taken away from you, just like that. Just like that, behind your actions or actions of others, and you commit a case. You could build a case for yourself when you do stuff and get caught on camera, or intentionally go on camera and do the stuff. You're not necessarily going to do 50 years straight and live 50 years. A lot of people die in prison, die of bad health, die of assaults, attacks, be it by inmates or staff. You know what I'm saying? You can get gunned down in prison. You're not necessarily going to walk on 17 years and be good and walk back out, everything going to be good. That's not true for everybody. So you must understand.
A lot of people don't make it out.
Here we go. You ain't got to believe me because you think I'm this, I'm that, whatever. I'm telling you from experience, I am an expert in this.
Hey, FOMBY, you gotta let them know people lose their life for a tomato in there. Don't pay up.
Man, tell you can get rammed and get something stuck in your neck and bleed out, and the police ain't gonna run in there and be like, "Oh, baby, they're gonna let you bleed out." They're gonna let you bleed out. They gonna make like they trying to help you. You know what I'm saying, to keep their job. But if you've been disrespectful to the police and the staff, and you get stabbed, they're gonna be shit.
They're gonna be waiting on medical, huh?
Yeah, don't touch him. Wait the medical. I ain't medical. I can't help you.
Gotta clear the scene away from medical, huh?
There you go. He telling you, I ain't making this up. Junior seen this. He done seen this. The council have heard about these things, fighting cases and seeing shit, having niggas getting beat up in the county, raped. They got to go fight their case, and the police is right there. They didn't do nothing. Shit.
That's not their job to save you.
Here I'm coming from. So I want y'all to understand, this is not a game, man. Stop believing in the unnecessary hype that your 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes on the ground is worth your life or life of others. It's not. Please believe it.
Yeah.
So, and here these guys work, and he's a counsel, he's a lawyer, he's law enforcement. They just seen it, they do, and they deal with it on a regular basis. Again, do not believe the bullshit. That's what I'm going to tell you. You talk to them, man. You gotta understand what I'm saying. I ain't talking about them, I'm talking about the viewers. And listen, they want to hear about the gossip and the bullshit. That's all. Half the niggas is weenies and marks and busters and hooks any motherfucking way. Running around.
Well, the bottom line of it is, you got to think young, old, or in the middle. You do not owe the streets shit. And if you do, you're going to pay with your life. You don't owe the streets nothing.
The streets don't give a fuck about you. Please believe that. And then you're doing all this shit and get like 2, 3 likes. And you dead, you gone. You the nigga that did some bullshit and nigga laughing at you while you in prison But they go video cuz right there. They go video blood right
Prison on a
there.
t-shirt.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? You ain't come on, man.
And you
Really?
gotta think about it like this. In every career, every position in life, there's always somebody up and coming. I don't care if you're a model, I don't care if you're an athlete, you're an entertainer, there's a supervisor, there's always somebody up and coming. So when you doing what you doing, making a name for yourself, there's somebody 2 years behind you, a year behind you, 6 months behind you that's coming to take your spot. So when you wiped off the face of the earth or you standing up account for life, this is the new guy now. You're
Real
forgot
talk.
about.
Look, we've been on this for a minute. I need to go check out our show, man. When I did on the funeral home. Best thing you need to do is get you a burial plot. You out in these streets, you better get you a life insurance. So your people ain't got to be doing no GoFundMe and car washes and panhandling at the four-way intersection with buckets with a picture of you trying to get money to bury you. You understand where I'm coming from? I'm talking to you about some real shit, not no bullshit. It's the ongoing problems I see every day mashing through the city. I'm from the long distance to watch Inglewood. People outside with buckets, with pictures, trying to bury their loved one. Some might be faking and shaking, but some of them might be real. Because the person then planned that they needed a little burn me up kit. What's the burn me up kit? They throw you in a thing like this, put the top on it, and put you on the shelf for a band. You got where I'm coming from? That's the burn me up kit special. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And real quick, when you get that money from whatever you're doing, don't go buy no gold chain. Don't buy that. Go get you some life insurance, man. It'll make things a hell of a lot better for your loved ones. Trust and believe that.
Yeah, get you the life insurance that in case you need to borrow on it, in case you get in some bullshit, and you might have borrowed the money and get you a real attorney that's gonna feel like they're gonna fight for you, and you can pay them some money to fight for you. Listen, I didn't ramble out, Mr. Alex, Mr. Harris. Anything you like to say before we shut this down, man? I know I've been on one. I apologize.
No, yeah, I was just going, through some of the comments and trying to see if there was anything in particular. But somebody made the comment on there about you paying for your life, etc. From my experience, growing up in the community, working gangs, doing all kind of stuff I've done in my career, and going to the federal side and seeing all kind of weird stuff over there too. It is true. When as a street cop, I used to have $1 million worth of life insurance, but I've also been in some issues where they may have been had to use. But when you out there, that's one thing I respect about when we talk about this stuff. You're gonna be out there. You need to keep that in mind. You either gonna end up dead or in prison. And here's the thing: if you're in prison long enough, you're gonna die up in there. So to put that burden on all the homicides I've been involved with, and I go to these families' house and I see, oh, my baby didn't do nothing. And no, man, I know homeboys who've died in the street that I've worked around. And I'm like, man, he was out there doing too damn much. Right? Listen, you don't do nothing. Get right with yourself. And a lot of this stuff in life is not a game. It's serious. And some people are willing to risk their life to make sure you don't have one. And that's just the reality of it. We're seeing it left and right. We're seeing it on social media. Mr. Camper is seeing it. And he's right. Majority of these people know they out there shady doing stuff, but they like, well, maybe I can just beat this and get less. But the reality is they out there getting caught. Like one of the homeboys, one of the OGs told me, he said, listen, I got arrested for something I didn't do. But I sure got away with all the things that I did do.
I felt the same way, bro.
Life got a way.
I felt the same way.
Out. Life got a way of working itself out.
It's coming to collect.
I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody on here. Spread the word. Anything you pick my brain with, you let me know. I'm right here for you.
For sure. We appreciate that. Mr. Camper, you got anything you like to say before we close out?
No, thanks for having me. If anybody want to find me or contact me, my website is up and running, jclegalservice.com. Anybody have any more questions, feel free to find a way, contact me, and I'll do my best to answer them. And thanks for having me.
And I highly appreciate you and Mr. Harris for stopping in, taking time out of your day and the nights with your family to tap in on the Line podcast show with JJ FOMBY Jr. podcast show. We appreciate you, and looking forward to having y'all back. So all the people out there listening on the platform, stream platform, on all streaming platforms, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, and also look about buying his online podcast t-shirts, man. And to the next episode, Artist Shield.
Next episode.